It is a startling statistic as many of half of girls questioned say that they've experienced sexual assault and harassment in local school districts.
Still ahead, how one Northern Virginia community is attempting to change the way that parents talk with their kids about it. We want to welcome you back to Fox 5 Morning. Well, you might have just finished dropping the kids off at school, or they're at the bus stop right now. So think about this startling statistic. In Arlington County Public Schools, half of all women students in grades 8, 10, and 12 report having been sexually harassed in school. 20% report a dating partner made unwanted contact with them. So tonight, the Arlington community is coming together to change the way we talk about sexual assault in school. And they want to know how you define healthy masculinity. They hope to ask that question, and that question will change the way that parents talk to their kids about sexual harassment. It's all part of Arlington's Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. And joining us to talk more about it, Candice Lopez is the coordinator with Project Peace. That's a group that works on education, prevention, and support services to end domestic and sexual violence. Candice, thanks for being with us today. And Michael Swisher is with us as well, Project Peace Prevention Co-Chair. Thank you for being with us. So that statistic is very jarring. Can you just outline what the problem is as we see it in 2019 in our schools with, kids, basically students? Candice, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so we are starting to now look at the problem more and start to have statistical data on what's actually happening. So we know that it's not that there's been an increase and it's not happening more. We know that people are coming forward and sharing those experiences because they know more about the problem and they know that they deserve support. So we see that kids are more willing to share what their experiences have been, and we're trying to provide services and support to make sure they know that there is help for them if they need it.
So it's two issues here, like we're talking sexual violence, and then we're also talking about that harassment, that huge number. So let me ask you, Michael, how do we define that? How do it, because, back in the day, is it just like somebody walking down the hallway and, hey, can I get your number? That kind of, kiddish things. Or is that what we're talking about here? Or have we redefined what we're talking about?
So it's some of that, but it's also things, some of our young women have recognized or acknowledged that they've been groped, boys grabbing, touching, those sort of things in the hallway that are not accidental, and sort of comments about the way they look, things like that. And so this is not like, hey, nice blouse. It's more like, hey, nice whatever. And so that's really what they're saying. And one of the things that one of the young women talk about that I think some of the reason we're seeing the numbers is young women are starting to recognize that this is not okay. They've accepted it as normal behavior. Right. So have many of the boys. And so both the young men and the young women are like, oh, this is what we do. And so that's part of what we're trying to do, is teach, like, this is not what we do. This is not what that looks like.
So with Project Peace, is that basically a safe space to report things like this? Because I'm sure that, 5 years ago, somebody felt the unwanted attention but didn't know where to turn to and didn't know if this was a reportable offense, if you will.
So Project Peace, we're actually the coordinated community response to domestic and sexual violence. So we bring together all of the folks who would work with victims and survivors to make sure that we're coordinated in our response. So PEACE is actually an acronym. It stands for Partnering to End Abuse in the Community for Everyone. In Arlington, the local service provider is actually Doorways for Women and Families. So if someone needed support, they could call the Doorways hotline at 703-237-0881, and someone's there 24/7 to help them. Okay. So we're helping, trying to get the resources out there so people know who to call.
Resources including a panel. What will the discussion be? What will go on at the event this evening?
So it's really, we've gathered together men from our community, some dads and some not, but just men who are engaged with young people in one way or another. I'm a dad, I'll be there. Other friends are dads, but also coaches. We have police officers, teachers. And so it's really a way to help us define, or like, what is healthy masculinity and how are we teaching it to our young people? We've vetted our people, our panelists, to make sure, like, they have the right sort of masculinity that we're looking for, to move away from the older norms that we used to have. So that's,
now, people are going to be watching and they're going to be like, oh my God, not enough toxic masculinity, and it's a crime just to be a boy or a man now. What are we really saying here? If we, in the moments that we have together, what is masculinity when it basically offends or encroaches on somebody else's personal space? Or what are we fighting right now?
Well, really, like, just be nice. I mean, really, it comes down to be respectful and really thinking about not women to protect them, not women to objectify, but women just to respect as other people.
Go to school and just get some learning, right?
Right.
And don't comment on people's appearance, and certainly don't touch.
So, not without consent.
Okay.
Never without consent.
Okay.
Can I hold your hand? Can I, you know, the old movie stretch? Like, no. Can I put my arm around you? No. Okay, fine.
It's a tough time. We're redefining norms that have really existed for so long. Can we do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're focusing on those healthy things. There are men in our community who are role models for what this healthy masculinity looks like, and that's really what we're highlighting tonight.
All right. I want to tell everybody where to go for the event. It is 6:30 to 8:30. A lot to cover in a little bit of time, but you can definitely get all your questions answered this evening at the Arlington Central Library Auditorium. Didn't even get into sexual assault and domestic violence, even with younger kids. So I trust all of those questions will be talked about this evening.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
All right. Tucker, over to you.